You turned back time to relive the same nightmare again and again? For Simon Magnos, the Empire's most invisible royal bastard, this cursed reality is no dream. For 100 nights, he has dreamed of his tyrant father, the brutal third overlord Balsam, dying a violent death. Yet on the midnight his nightmare finally comes true, a bloody system notification burns into his vision. Rewriting his doomed fate forever, he has unlocked the Overlord Class, bound to 100 eternal reigns on the blood-soaked Crimson Throne. It was 3 in the morning when Simon was jolted awake by his half-sister Lurian, the only royal in the cruel palace who had ever shown him mercy. The unthinkable had happened. Emperor Balsam, the invincible conqueror who had doubled the Empire's size and crushed every rebellion, had been brutally assassinated in his bed, alongside one of his concubines. The unstoppable tyrant had fallen, and the entire imperial court was thrown into chaos. Every powerful figure in the empire gathered in the dead emperor's chambers: the cold crown Prince Louis, the vicious Empress Euphemia, her violent son Thalas, elite physicians, scheming ministers, and battle-hardened generals. All stood ready to tear the empire apart for the vacant Crimson Throne. For decades, the palace had been a viper's den, and Balsam's death lit the fuse for an inevitable civil war. Everyone assumed the throne would pass to either the talented crown Prince Louis or the ruthless Prince Thalas. No one spared a glance at Simon, forgotten bastard. Forbidden from owning a class, forced to hide in the library to survive endless court schemes and poison attempts. He had spent his whole life craving freedom, planning to attend the Imperial Military Academy, become an adventurer, and escape his murderous family forever. But the dead emperor left a final, cruel surprise. The throne's bound spirit, the keeper of the throne, appeared with a royal testament, shattering every faction's expectations. To the shock of everyone present, Balsam had bequeathed the supreme overlord class, the Crimson Throne, and the entire empire, not to his royal heirs, but to the lowly bastard, Simon. A system panel erupted before Simon's eyes, revealing his god-tier inheritance, the S-rank magic and strength of the Overlord, immunity to mind manipulation, and full command of the Throne Keeper. Most terrifying of all was his passive curse, 100 endless reigns, every death sending him back to the start of this fatal day, forced to relive the palace chaos over and over. His first reign ended in seconds. Enraged by the impossible succession, Thalas ignited all-out conflict. The court erupted in magical explosions and sword fights, and Simon was burned alive in the brutal crossfire. As he died, the throne judged him, granting him his first title, Simon the Short-Lived, for a reign that lasted less than 2 hours. Sent back to the start of the day, Simon learned the deadly rule of his curse: any leak of the Crimson Throne's secret would trigger instant death. His careless comment about time travel cost him his second life, strangled by an invisible fatal force. Reborn a third time, Simon finally abandoned naivety. He could no longer run or hide. Every death taught him his father's final joke was a curse for the entire family. Risking everything, Simon revealed his overlord identity to Lurian. After witnessing his terrifying demonic armor and unrivaled miasma power, she finally believed him. Summoning the Keeper, Simon learned Balsam's last bloody order: kill all his royal children, every heir, to burn his own bloodline to the ground. Worse still, Simon discovered there was no escape. The Overlord's reign only ends in death. He could not abdicate, could not transfer the power. He was condemned to 100 lifetimes of ruling this broken empire. To survive the raging faction war, Simon devised a desperate ploy. He edited the Imperial Testament, adding a critical clause: if the new overlord died within 3 years of succession, the throne and class would pass to a random commoner, stripping the entire royal family of their birthright. The trick worked perfectly. Every scheming faction froze. No one dared kill Simon, fearing the loss of the dynasty's supreme power. The civil war was temporarily halted, buying Simon precious time to grow stronger, to level up, and unlock anti-divination abilities to hide his identity. Simon descended to the palace dungeons to execute condemned prisoners, rapidly boosting his overlord power, while the Empress and Louis only allowed him minimal strength. Determined to keep him a disposable placeholder, Simon bided his time, plotting revenge and survival. He soon left the deadly capital for the Imperial Military Academy, hoping to escape politics and lay low. But the palace's malice followed him. His bitter rival Elis tracked him down, publicly insulting Simon's mother and challenging his very right to live. Simon stood his ground, baiting Valas into a stalemate with the secret of the Overlord's succession. There he met the kind Princess Anna and her timid companion Tila, alongside a quiet, charming new friend named Casval. What began as a harmless night of drinking and truth games quickly turned into a fatal trap. After pairing off with Tila, Simon was ambushed by Casval, who revealed himself as a cold-blooded assassin. He killed Princess Anna in cold blood before driving a sword through Simon's stomach. Mortally wounded, Simon unleashed his Overlord transformation, shattering the assassin's blade. But Casval's true form was no human, he was a winged reptilian monster, a hidden beastman with terrifying power. He incinerated Simon in white fire, ending his fourth reign. Reborn once more, Simon gained a new title, Simon the Betrayed, immune to fatal sneak attacks. He finally uncovered the terrifying truth: his father's assassination was not a lone crime. A hidden conspiracy of monster assassins was hunting every member of the Magnos bloodline, intent on wiping out the entire imperial dynasty. To flip the tables, Simon pulled off the ultimate gambit. He rewrote Balsam's testament once again, naming the assassin Casval as the new overlord. He turned every imperial faction, every royal soldier, and all the empire's power against his traitorous enemy, letting his hunters become the hunted. The plan worked flawlessly. Cornered by imperial troops, Casval revealed his beastman form, burned a noble castle to the ground, and fled as a public enemy of the entire empire. Impressed by Simon's prophetic visions and wit, Crown Prince Louis summoned him for a secret audience, even offering to legitimize Simon as a true royal prince, granting him status and power he had never dared to dream of. Seizing his opportunity, Simon claimed two vital assets: the Empire's most powerful elven healer and spellcaster Agnes Firewind, and two special prisoners with rare vassal classes. With a powerful bodyguard, loyal new retainers, and the entire Empire hunting his enemy, Simon finally gained the upper hand in his 100-reign nightmare. The forgotten bastard has become the most feared man in the Empire. He has outwitted his scheming family, turned a deadly assassin into public enemy number one, and gained power, allies, and status beyond imagination. But the 100-reign curse is far from broken. The monster conspiracy still lurks in the shadows, the vengeful Casval waits for a chance to strike, and his bloodthirsty siblings still plot his demise. Now that Simon holds the Overlord's power and a loyal retinue at his back, will he finally break the cycle of death, or be trapped in endless, bloody reincarnations forever?